Here's the truth that no one tells you. You don't exist as just one being, and you never have. In fact, every consciousness that encounters you experiences a different octave of your being. To some, you're quiet. To others, you're magnetic. In someone's memory, you're a lesson. In another's story, you're medicine. To many, you're simply a moment, a frequency they pass through once. You're not one self, but your constellation of selves, a being refracted through the subjective lenses of every soul you've ever encountered. And here's the part that humbles even the most spiritually mature. You will never see yourself the way that someone else sees you. You will never hear your own laugh the way that someone else cherishes it. You'll never know how your presence settles a room, or how your absence rearranges it. To yourself, you feel singular, but in truth, you're spread across timelines, dimensions, memories, interpretations, 1,000 versions of you, none of which you'll ever meet. Incarnation is not random. You came here to ascend, to learn how to bring every version of yourself back into one center point of awareness, the 0 point, presence, the neutral field. Because beyond the masks, the stories, and the perceptions, you're a multi-dimensional organism operating across planes. You dream in other dimensions, you create in non-physical realms, and your consciousness travels farther than your body ever will. Every night you're co-creating with high octaves of yourself, and every day you're anchoring those frequencies into the physical avatar you're inhabiting now. The more you detach from the matrix of who you think you are, the more your neural pathways dissolve their old limits, your beliefs expand, identity loosens, and your perception recalibrates. You start operating from the brain's higher frequencies, from grey matter activation, intuition, and subtle field intelligence, instead of survival chemistry. Your emotional energy becomes creative life force, because what you feel becomes what it is that you sculpt, and what you observe becomes what solidifies. And yet, this path requires spiritual maturity. The ability to hold yourself in the entire spectrum of frequency, both the shadow and the light, without collapsing into chaos or attachment, because a dysregulated field creates holes. Absence of presence fractures the aura. Whatever you refuse to meet within yourself becomes a distortion within your energetic architecture. 0 point awareness asks, can you stay present even when you're misunderstood? Can you remain grounded even when someone projects an older version of you onto your current self? Can you hold your center when people see you through lenses you outgrew lifetimes ago? Because the goal was never to control how you're perceived. The goal is to return to presence again and again, despite how the world interprets you. In that presence, something alchemizes. All versions of you across dimensions begin to align. The fractured timelines begin to integrate. The multiplicity becomes coherent, and the thousands of stories about who you are collapses into one truth. The real you is the one who is aware, the one who is the witness, and the one who returns to neutrality. That is your power. That is the 0 point. So, your ascension. Let's go ahead and get one message. I'm going to do one message with the Cosmos Oracle, and then maybe a gateway light activation message, but I just want this to, it's just a standalone message. Relativity. So time is relative, okay? You're not moving through time, but instead time is moving and experiencing itself through you. Now, as you experience time as something that moves and experiences itself through you, you'll notice that there are many octaves and fractals that are suspended across many timelines. I'm hearing energetic imprints of events that had happened that were highly charged with emotion that led to a very specific archetypal manifestation. And an imprint that would stay with you into the present. Now, until integrated, until conscious of it. This is not allowing the past to define you or even be something that shapes you, but something that you deeply accept and how that's governed the way that you move through this construct or govern the way that you see yourself. I'm just seeing the return to the self, because dark energy is what if you were living as one version of yourself in that moment in time, right? So I'm seeing the past. And in the present, that could be the one that fears the future. Thinking that's all there was, or that's all there is. And this talks about there is so much more to discover. Other versions of you existing in quantum superposition. It says, turn on the flashlight, which is about looking at your space-time travels through the lens of the soul. If you can look back at your past and see it through the lens of pure frequency and vibration, there's alchemy that takes part in that process, because you understand how it contributed towards your ascension. It was always in benefit for the soul's evolution. The unmet parts of ourselves that we refuse to look at become distortions within our field. Distortions in how we see ourselves, or even in how we see the world. Consciousness in which we are engaging and interacting with. Understand the invitation. Okay. Let's get Gateway of the Light activation message. Feels like shadow integration, the heart of source, which is literally what we spoke about. You are everything on your path. You always have been. You will live in pain until you see that. You will live in a self-created cycle of suffering until you acknowledge that you are everything on that path. It was always you. It wasn't even you versus you, but it was you working with yourself. Other versions of yourself. One source with many masks, and it doesn't have to look like light for it to be light. The longer you postpone coming to that unconditional love, unconditional acceptance, the longer you also postpone the beauty and co-creations that are awaiting you. Heart of Source. One consciousness. Omnipotence, omniscience, and omnipresence, experiencing itself in a limited dimensional avatar to experience life in the subjective lens of who you are, but believing that's all that you are. Localized to this one vessel, when you are the very field that the vessel moves through, when you are the path and the opportunities and timelines and events. When you can hold a rose and realize that you are not separate from that rose, only the illusion of separation, one emanation, difference in only seeming. You will experience liberation. I'm gonna love and leave it right there. I'm gonna love and leave it right there. And that is love. And that hasn't been modeled by society. So, if you're already subscribed to the channel and you've made it to this point, do consider subscribing. I'd love to have you around. Personal reading details are down below, although they are closed for the time being, but you still can inquire via email. And also check out Otter Spray if you're looking for some high quality AAA graded jewelry. One of the proceeds are donated towards Otter Sanctuaries. 2 discount codes are in the description box of this video. And I'm gonna love and leave it right there, because that's it. That is it. That's what the message is. That's what the remembrance is, and it's not anything new, but it's just a, if you know, you know. Until next time, bye.